Thank you for continuing to tune in and listen. As we all know, this is a very different situation, and things are not normal, and whenever we are able to have Mass in church again, it won't be normal then either. And our bishop has certain restrictions and protocols for people to be able to come to Mass again, and I want to share those with you. And all bishops have to make these decisions on their own, so you'll see this being different from one diocese to another. But we are called to do what our bishop wants us to do, and so all of us here are just trying to follow what we're being told we're supposed to do. So remember that you are not obligated to come to church at all for Mass at this time. During the difficulty of the virus, everybody's obligation to attend Mass on the weekend is lifted, and you can continue to watch at home. And we'll continue to offer Mass online and on TV, so you can continue to do that. You don't have to come to church. If you think that you're going to be upset by the restrictions or angry about it or feel bad if you're not going to be able to get into church, then it's probably better if you just continue to watch from at home. It really doesn't make any sense to try to come and praise and worship God and end up being angry or upset about it. So, anybody who is over the age of 65 or has any kind of a health issue, like a breathing issue, or have had cancer or diabetes or a heart issue or whatever, any type of heightened risk factor of health, chronic illness, then it's probably better if you just continue to watch from home and not come to church. The bishop would prefer that you not be here if you have that situation. Everybody who comes into Mass will have to wear a mask. And so please bring a mask if you plan to come to church. And if you are over 2 years of age, you'll be required to wear a mask. So if that's a difficulty for people to wear a mask or to keep a mask on younger children, or if there's handicapped people who have trouble wearing a mask, again, it's probably better if you just continue to watch from home. Here at Spencer Sacred Heart, only the south doors will be open. Only the main doors will be open to the south. All other doors will be closed and locked. So you can only enter and exit from the south doors. And in Primgar, only the east door will be open. The basement door to the south will not be open, and you won't be able to use the lift. So if you can't come in the east door and negotiate all those steps, again, it's probably better if you just stay home and watch from television. The doors are only going to be open 30 minutes before Mass starts. So that's to make it easier on the ushers and the greeters to be able to let people in and monitor them. So there is limited seating in each church, and in order to maintain social distancing, the bishop says we have to rope off 2 out of every 3 pews and mark the places where people are allowed to sit. So if you do come to church, know that an usher will be leading you from the door to your pew to a place where you can sit. They are not going to seat you where you're used to being seated, and you're not going to probably be able to sit in the pew that you're used to. Families will be allowed to sit together, but then that means that that pew is completely taken and it has to go on to the next pew. So there is a chance that you, when we reach capacity, which in Spencer is going to be about 60, in Hartley is going to be about 30, and in Primgar is going to be about 45. When we reach capacity, you probably would get turned away. So please be aware of that. There's a good chance that would happen since seating is so limited. And the ushers will greet you at the door, and they'll sign you in. They'll bring you to your seat. And collection baskets will be at the church entrances, so you can put in your donation. We are not going to have a collection during Mass. We're not going to bring up the gifts. We're not going to have a sign of peace. And we're going to have limited music for the first couple of weeks anyway. So just opening and closing hymn like we've been doing on television. So later on, hopefully we can gradually work more music back into it. But to start with, we're going to start as a very minimal thing. And even the Mass parts will be said. And then communion will take place after Mass is over. So after the final hymn, when I go off, then excuse me, then I'll come back out, and In Spencer, we're only going to need one other Eucharistic minister besides myself, because we're only distributing hosts. And so at Spencer Sacred Heart, that Eucharistic minister, one will be at the far end on the far side aisle, and the other will be on the other side on the far side aisle. And you come down those side aisles, again maintaining the 6-foot difference. Don't be one right behind the other one, but maintain a 6-foot difference to come up to communion. When you come to communion, we're asking that you take communion in the hand only, and then when you leave, we're asking you to go back and not go down the main aisle, but to go back one of the side aisles, again, always maintaining the 6-foot difference between yourself and anybody else. And then you immediately leave the church, and the bishop does not want people to congregate or gather in the church to discuss, or even out in the parking lot. We're asking that you maintain your social distance and be careful with all of that. So in Hartley and Primgar, I'll be the only one distributing communion, so for those cases, you come down the main aisle to me for communion and go back on the side aisles, again, always maintaining the 6-foot difference. So I know this is all different and it's all difficult, and hopefully it's as temporary as possible. Hopefully none of this lasts very long. But for the time being, we're asking everybody to be patient and kind and understand that we're all just trying to do the best we can with this, and not to be upset or bent out of shape about it, because it just is the way it is for a while. So if you have any questions or any concerns or any complaints, feel free to call me. If you want to vent or ask questions or whatever, that's fine. But appreciate you paying attention and listening, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. Thank you.